Hello my hungry friends, welcome to Polish Your Kitchen. Today we're making Polish fresh sausage. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for your support, thanks for subscribing, commenting and liking. Thank you for your donations. If you'd like to find out how you can support my channel, read the description under this video. Today we're making Polish BIAŁA KIEłBASA, and that is all pork fresh sausage, mainly served around Easter. We will go step by step and I will show you how to make it from start to finish. So we are going to start by assembling our equipment. Today I'm using an attachment that goes with the KitchenAid, and this is the meat grinder. It has an attachment to grind and also stuff sausage, and it comes in a few parts. Here's the thing that goes on top, the part that goes on top. It has a this, what do you call this?
I would call it a worm.
A worm inside, that goes inside, and this gets attached to the front of the KitchenAid, and we attach it by screwing this in and make that tight so it doesn't come off. And then we have several parts here. We have two discs. One is for smaller grind and one is for little coarser grind. We're going to use the smaller grind. There goes the blade that'll cut or mince our meat. And this is a very important part if you are going to be stuffing your meat into casings. So if you do buy this, make sure this piece is included in your set. And there are two endings for stuffing. One is for little thin guys, little sausages, kind of like Slim Jims, and this is for a regular sausage. So this is the guy, the fatter guy we're using today. So our worm is in. Then goes our blade, and then goes our the smaller hole attachment, and that goes in. I'm going to push it in and then cover that, and this guy will push our meat in, and that is it for now. So as I said, this is an all pork sausage, and you will be using pork butt or pork shoulder. And if you can buy it, if you can find raw bacon, which it was kind of hard for me when I lived in America to find, then use smoked, but raw smoked, not cooked smoked. So this is, I'm gonna put gloves on. So this is the raw bacon. This is very common in Poland. You can get this type of cuts here everywhere. It is raw bacon, boneless, that has not been smoked yet. And it's got a lot of fat in it, just as the shoulder does. So we want to have a little bit of the marbling because that's what's going to flavor our sausage. So I'm going to go ahead and slice this into pieces that will fit into my grinder, and then we'll get to stuffing. BIAŁA KIEłBASA, the sausage we're making today, we normally made it in my home growing up once a year, and this was right before Easter. This is a sausage that will be served as the star of the show. We will boil it in water with some spices, and also we use it as a base for making żurek, or also known as Barszcz. Also, żurek and barszcz are two different things. One is made with rye flour and one is made with whole wheat flour. But this was a kind of a one time a year event in our home, unless my dad's family once in a while would buy a pig, and they would slaughter the pig and then would have to make it into different items. A sausage would be one of them. But other than that, we would just make this once a year. And BIAŁA KIEłBASA is very specific, not as much in what kind of meat or how much bacon to pork butt ratio, but as far as spices go. So BIAŁA KIEłBASA is spiced with garlic and marjoram. This is everybody adds that to their BIAŁA KIEłBASA, and there's really no other variation. You may find that some people add a little bit more garlic or a little bit more marjoram. Obviously there's salt too, but that's the base of it. So if we were making smoked Polish sausage, we would do a different combination of spices. But for fresh sausage, it always is salt, pepper, marjoram, and garlic. I'm cutting these pieces into, I'd want to say bite sizes, but we're not biting this. But they're small enough to go into our hole. If you don't have a KitchenAid or a stand-up type mixer like this at home, you can get you relatively cheaply a meat grinder that's hand kind of crank. They're pretty cheap. I think they're about $10-15. And even if you weren't grinding your meat at home, I think they often come with one of these sausage attachments, so you could get the meat ground by your butcher, so you can skip this whole part. And then what you would do at home is only put the meat through your grinder without the little spiral cutter, and it would stuff your meat into casings. I am using pork casings today. When I lived in America and made sausage at home, there was one brand particularly that I liked, and I will post a link underneath this video in the description to show you which one it is. But they come in a package. I always had it delivered to the house. They come in a package, sealed package. The casings are stored or preserved in salt, so you'll just have to follow the instructions on the package, but you have to rinse them really well. But they come clean. You don't have to worry about rinsing through each casing. You just have to rinse the salt out of them. And once we are done with grinding and flavoring our meat, it's really not that much work. You do need to have 4 hands to do this. So again, party time, good time to get the family together, get everybody in the kitchen, do line work. One's cutting, one's mixing, one's grinding, and then at the end everyone's eating, which is my favorite part. I am almost done with this part. I'm using pork butt and pork belly today. But as I said, if you can't find pork belly, raw bacon, go ahead and use smoked. The ratios as far as how much bacon to pork butt is not really that important. I would maybe focus more on the ingredients that go with it. So I have about 9 pounds of meat here altogether. And if you get a little bit more bacon, your sausage will be a little bit more fatty. If you get more shoulder or pork butt, your sausage will be a little bit leaner. but when I was growing up and we made this at home, the sausage was pretty fatty, and the ratio was a little bit different from my recipe. It was a lot more bacon and a lot less lean meat, which I kind of changed a little bit because I just like my sausage a little leaner. So if you're worried about how much to get, don't worry about that part too much. Just get either half and half you can do and try it, see if you like it. If you want it a little bit leaner, get more shoulder and a little bit of bacon. So we are done with slicing. Now I'm gonna put it through the grinder and then we will get the stuffing. Okay, time to grind. I have ground up most of my meat. Just a tip, if you want to grind up your garlic, do it sometime in the middle so you can distribute the garlic evenly. So I'm going to pop it in and finish the rest of the meat. All right, we are done with grinding. I have a big pile of meat. I'm going to ask my very strong and muscly husband to help me mix my meat. Here he is. Come on. So we have to split this into, no, I need that bowl, into a couple bowls because we don't have one large one enough to fit all of our meat. So, and there's one more behind you. So we have two bowls like this. So I'm going to put half of it in this one and half of it in that one, and then we'll keep mixing. Do you want gloves? Okay. Bong. We have done this together many times, haven't we?
We have, and I'm sure I will do it many times in the future.
So we normally make a large batch, and like around Easter, and then I'll put a bunch in the freezer, and we do eat it more than once in a year. Later, when the grilling season starts, I'll take some out, and they taste great on the grill also. And then I don't pre-boil them like you would brats. I like to just put them on the grill. Babe, how do you make them? Normally kind of off to the side? So
You start them, like, I usually take my grill and I have it, my charcoal on half of the grill. I use a Weber. One half of the grill, coals are done. So you sear it to get some nice color on it, then I throw it on the other side and let it cook all the way through. That way it won't burn it. So indirect grilling after initial sear. That's how I like to do all the sausages out of it.
And I like to put onions on mine too, sauteed onions, they taste great. Okay, so we have divided this up into half, and we have dried marjoram, herb, and freshly ground pepper. So we'll do 2 tablespoons of marjoram. And the thing with marjoram, it kind of releases its flavor and smell when you rub it. So I like to rub it a bunch before I put it in the meat. So we'll do 1 in that bowl and then 1 in this bowl. And once you make this once or twice, you will kind of judge how much herbs or how much pepper you want in yours. Some people like it a little bit more spicy as far as pepper goes, so you can add more pepper to it. And marjoram is pretty strong smelling.
You can smell it already.
I can smell it, yeah. And right away it hits me in the nose. It reminds me of Polish sausage or BIAŁA KIEłBASA. And then we have freshly ground pepper. I'm going to do half in here, so about one teaspoon, and then a little bit less here, but it should be about 2 teaspoons.
Yeah.
And then I'll let this water dissolve a little bit more. I am not using, what do you call the salt that you use for meats?
Oh, curing salt.
Yeah, I'm not using curing salt because this sausage is not going to get cured. It's just, it'll be made and prepared fresh or frozen. So there's really not any time that it sits out. Not sits out, but smoked sausage is normally smoked in low temperatures, and that's why you need to put the curing salt in it. but this one is not going to get smoked, so there's just no reason to do it. So we have, as I said, a cup of water, and this recipe calls for 1 tablespoon of salt, which is 3 teaspoons. So that's what I have in here. And as soon as this dissolves, you can start mixing that, actually. Yeah, I allow you. This is, go as ice cold as you can, and do half in here. So the water helps us, one, dissolve the spices, and it kind of loosens up the meat too. And as you are doing this, I will get the casings. If you are not sure whether you have done enough spices and it's too the standard that you are used to, you can go do that. Or you can make yourself a little meatball and fry it up and then eat it and taste it. If it needs more salt, then you can add more salt. If you like it more garlicky, then go ahead and add more. I've added 6 here to this amount of meat. Should we switch a little bit? Do you remember your first time eating white sausage?
I do. Well, my first memory of eating white sausage was at Hannah's.
Our daughter's.
Yeah, our daughter's baptism.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Because it was right around Easter.
Oh, it was.
And so we had Easter dinner out in Stawno, here in Poland, at your dad's farmhouse.
At Mom and Dad's farm.
Yep. And yeah, I just remember I liked it so much more than Christmas food because there wasn't a bunch of fish in it. So I got to have white sausage. I don't do fish.
That looks good to me.
Yeah,
I don't know.
think so. It smells great. So
We will stop with this now. It looks good. And we will get to stuffing. So, should we put this all in one?
Yeah.
Do you need to wash your hands?
I'm gonna rinse off real quick.
Okay. I will transfer this in one bowl. And I would if you were doing this for the first time, I would encourage you to do a small meatball and cook it up before you continue. But we are gonna go and switch our attachments. This handy thing also helps you unscrew if you have weak hands. So we are going to take out the grinder. I need a knife or something sharp. So we need to take out the attachment with the holes, because we don't need that anymore, and the knife, because we're not cutting meat anymore. And we are going to insert this little guy, and it goes crisscross into the little notches that are on the side, and we're using the fatter attachment that will go through, and that is all. And I have to put gloves on it. So this is a plastic attachment, so we had to put a little bit of oil on it to let the casing slide a little bit better, and it's a lot better to work without gloves on this, because gloves just keep sliding back and forth. But we're gonna try to fit just one casing at a time. You can do more if your attachment is a little bit longer, and we will do one, and then we'll stuff it, and then we'll put another one on. But we've done one casing, and one casing makes about this many, 2, 4, 6 sausages, and I like to twist them as I go. I know some people do one long spiral one. I like to divide them into little sausages already. So here we have our casing, and Mark
Already?
will, yep, Mark will stuff the meat into the this container, and I'm kind of guiding this casing off. So when you do this, you need to hold down to the casing here with your left hand and slowly let it slide, filling the whole casing pretty snugly. We're trying not to have air pockets in there, because that will just make our casings burst later when they're cooking or when they're being grilled. Just kind of snugly hold that, and when you get to whatever size you want, just twist. The casings are pretty strong. You just twist it a few times and just continue filling. This attachment is enough if you're just making a sausage once or twice a year. It's plenty, it works great, but if you're like me and you like to work in bulk, you gotta bring out the big guns. Or if you're like me and you cook in bulk, this is the puppy that you want. I have this 5 kilo hopper, or that's 10 pounds, yeah? So this will be done in no time. Mark will fill this. Then we have this big crank that'll be pushing the meat in. Try to not leave too many air pockets in there. And we'll be done in no time. We have made a batch or two with the other attachment. And look how gorgeous our little sausages look. They're nice and pink. When they're cooked, they'll look white. That's why we call it white sausage, BIAۯA KIEłBASA. And it kind of looks like brats. If you're from the Midwest, like my lovely husband, you'll know about brats.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Will it all fit in there?
Oh yeah.
Sweet. I have dreamt of using one like this for quite a while. Now I finally broke down and bought one. So I'm excited.
All right, there you go.
So this guy goes down. If you'd like to get one, make sure you get one that has a removable hopper. This guy removes. You can put it in your sink and wash it real nice. And just pops in. And then this goes down. And there's a key on this side that you pop in to lock. And this, with the crank of a handle, will push the meat in. And
hold on, my hands are greasy.
Slippery, that's okay. I get it.
You got it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And mine came with 4 different attachment or size sausage. I chose this one because it looks like about the size that I want my sausages to be.
All right, there you go.
Cool.
You want a crank?
Nope. I want to
The
catch
inaugural
crank. Nope. I'll let you.
All right, here we go.
So some air.
that's
Looks like
satisfying.
some air. Oh.
Holy
That goes out
cow.
really fast. So.
All right, you ready? Ooh.
So I can let some air out this way. Hang on, let me get some of this air out. Try to get most of this air out. And hang on to this again.
Ready?
And just, yep, slowly. Yep, keep going.
I'm just
Yep,
trying
there's
to
still some air coming.
gauge it here.
Yep,
Because this sucker's going to go once
yep,
it goes.
it's going, yep. So now, Mark can work a lot faster than me now. Or his every move is, okay, hang on.
I love this thing.
I know, me too. And I'll twist. And keep going.
And how much did this thing cost?
This was not super expensive. I got it here in Poland online. Hang on.
I'm hanging.
I want to say it was about 300 Polish zloty, which is about $175 or so. I will search online, on American line, okay,
On the
on American
interwebs.
interwebs, and see if I can find one that's similar with similar hopper. This came in different sizes. I think there was a couple smaller ones. One was 2.5 kilo. One was, yep. This is fast.
Because I will tell you, if you're going to be making sausage in any kind of, this thing is worth every penny.
I already like it a lot better than the other one. Okay. This one turn of a crank makes, not even, like a fourth of a crank.
No, I haven't gone a full rotation yet.
Wow, okay.
And we've almost filled a full case.
Yep. Okay, stop. A little bit more. Okay. This thing is pretty handy.
That's these knees right there.
Highly recommend. And you can actually see with how different these two sausages are.
You can. One's more densely packed.
Yeah,
less air pockets.
This thing.
Get me started, please.
Doesn't, the meat doesn't go through the spiral anymore, or again, like it does in this.
The worm screw.
The worm makes the meat, I guess it mixes and minces the meat a little bit more, even though the cutter is out. And you can definitely see this in the texture of the meat in these two. One is kind of a lot lighter, looks like the meat is a lot more minced, and this one looks more like a brat.
It does.
I wonder how that's gonna
I don't know, but I'm looking forward to
translate
cooking this immediately upon the completion of this video.
Yeah. Okay. And it seems now that the first one had some air in it because of the front, but now the air kind of got out. Okay. And the trick here, is to hang on to this attachment. So when the meat starts pouring out, it doesn't pull your casing completely off. So just...
Now, are you twisting the same way with each link?
it doesn't matter. I just twist it however I want, and and I guess however I just do it. And once you separate the links, it kind of stays that way anyway. Okay? This thing is really slick.
Heck yeah, it is.
I am very happy with this purchase.
It's worth every penny. Especially if you get, you know, your husbands to help you with this, or husbands get the wives to help you with this. Whoever's not the cook and has to do the manual part of just putting the meat in the hopper.
Okay.
This is more gooder. It could save your marriage.
Do you prefer smaller sausages, or do you like?
It depends on. For a bratwurst, I like a thinner, longer sausage. And that's a traditional German bratwurst, not like back home the Johnsonvilles.
Oh yeah.
The Johnsonvilles are very similar to this. But for a sausage with this diameter to it, I would prefer a shorter one, because otherwise it's a lot of food, you know. Whereas a thinner sausage, I prefer it to be longer, fits in a bun better.
Okay.
Like
we do put this in soup too. Around Easter, like I was saying, this sausage will be a star served with soured flour soup called either żurek or white borscht. Okay. White borscht, biały borscht. So you can put the whole sausage in there, or you can slice it and add an egg to it. Okay. I think we'll make maybe one little guy to add here. Okay. That thing is thick.
Yes, it is.
All right. Got another casing.
Yep.
And this sausage freezes great. You can put it in a vacuum pack kind of bag or just zipped up bag and freeze them for as long as you need to. I would freeze them raw, unless you have a bunch that you cooked in. Okay, we have gone through all of our meat, about 9 pounds. This is how much it made. The amount of sausages will depend on how big or small you make them, but just to give you an idea. And I wanted to show a close-up of the different textures that we ended up with. So this one over here was made with KitchenAid, and as I was saying earlier, you can see how much more mixed the meat is. It kind of looks like it's minced a little bit more, and this is a little bit more coarse look to it. This is the sausage that we made with the big hopper. I guess this will depend on what equipment you have, is how you're going to make it. And now a few serving suggestions. In the description here I will post a link to a recipe for sausage that I make around Easter. So this is the one that will be boiled in water with some other spices. There'll be bay leaf in there, peppercorns, allspice seeds. This sausage cooked like that we will serve with soup, as I mentioned before, around Easter. As Mark mentioned, when we're making the sausage, you can also grill this during the summer or winter if you're all year griller. Just make sure to keep your sausage off to the side, not over direct heat. If you're not a griller and you want to cook this at home other ways, I would suggest to slice a few onions, 2 or 3, bunch of onions, even some garlic with it. Saute garlic and onion together in a pan with butter and a little bit of oil. And once the onion is done, remove the onion, put your sausage in the same pan, turn your heat down, kind of sear it on the outside, put the onion back in, cover it, let it cook through, and you can enjoy it like that with bread and some horseradish. If you've ever had Polish horseradish, you gotta try it. I do have a recipe for it on my page. I'll post a link below also. And that is Polish sausage, my friends. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe and like and follow and give me a thumbs up and donate if you'd like. Everything in my video description. I hope you come back. Smacznego. Bye!